Everybody joining us online for the informational detox meeting about Sharon Feanny's 7-day lipid detox. Sorry we are late. We've been busy doing our pH test, but I'll talk to you more about that later. And everybody, unfortunately, I'm sorry that they've been getting a sample of some delicious high vitality food, some Mediterranean lentil salads here, the oohs and the ahs, some pumpkin, ginger, coconut soup, flaxseed crackers. So these are all in my recipe book. Do not feel left out. We're glad that you're here with us, and welcome. I'm going to start the meeting now. So warm welcome to everybody here. Nice to see you, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. That means that your health is very important to you, and I really respect and appreciate that. And a warm welcome to Jeanette, who's joining us again for the second time. Jeanette did my detox, my pre-Christmas detox, my first one in Kingston, and it was just great to have you back again. And we'll talk a little bit like how often you should detox and stuff like that. So, without further ado, my name is Sharon Feanny. Some of you may know me from Shakti Mind Fitness in Kingston, or some of you may not know me. I'd like to tell you a little bit about why I'm here standing and talking about the detox program today, and why this is my new mission and this is my new passion in my life. So I owned a gym, or it was actually a yoga center that became a total mind-body fitness center. It was a very, very special place. Anybody remember Shakti? It was a very special place. And we had a Miss Shakti. I miss Shakti too, but you know, Shakti is something that's inside of us. Shakti never changes. Shakti never dies. Shakti just transforms into other things. So I had the center for 12 years, and 3 years prior to closing it, my husband took a job in Montego Bay. I had just had my third baby. So I had 3 young children. I was running a full-time business, and any of you who know the fitness business, it's not a 9-to-5 business, it's a 24-hour day, 7-day week business. And I was looking after 3 young children, running a business, teaching yoga, being out in the world, a mother, entrepreneur, no backup plan, no husband, no support system during the week. Of course, he was there on the weekends. And at the end of the 3rd year, we looked at each other and said, something has to change. Either you have to move back to Montego Bay, or, move back to Kingston, or I moved to Montego Bay, thinking, of course he's going to move back to Kingston. Who wants to live in Montego Bay? Sorry guys. Anyway, long story short, I ended up being the one to move. And I thought, this is going to be cool. I will live in Mumbai. I will go to Kingston 3 days a week and work at Shakti and be kid-free and have this amazing time. You can handle the kids, and it's supposed to be a great new way of life. Well, that lasted about 6 months. I don't know anybody trying to drive back and forth between Mumbai and Kingston. And then I was leaving my kids, and the whole thing just didn't make any sense. We needed to be a family. And I had one day woke up and made one of the hardest and most challenging decisions in my life, that I had to give something up. It wasn't going to be my husband or my children. It had to be my other love, which was my business. And I decided to close the doors. So it was very painful, but I did not realize how painful it was until about 3 months later, when I found myself literally on the floor in Montego Bay. Depressed, acidic, extreme pain in my stomach, not being able to understand why, not sleeping well, headaches, just you name the spectrum of feelings. And I thought, well, I knew that a lot of this has to do with stress. You're eliminating something that's so big in your life. I had just moved somewhere new. I didn't know anybody. I really didn't know who I was anymore. And I decided that I wanted to put myself on a detox. Now, I've been doing detox programs. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Shakti Love Fest. I had brought this amazing writer, Dr. Alejandro Jungar, the keynote speaker. He wrote the book Clean, which has gone on to be a bestseller in the New York Times. He has developed a clean program, and he's one of my gurus and mentors. So after he came to Jamaica, we started to offer clean detox programs at Shakti, which were quite successful. But so I knew the basics of it. But now I had the time. And the other thing that I had was the luxury of getting in my kitchen again. So before my husband left for Kingston, Antigua, I was always the one in the kitchen, cooking, creating, trying out new and healthy things. And that kind of went out the window. I was just like eating on the fly, whatever I could get. So I put myself through a 40-day detox. And when I came out of that 40-day detox, I was completely transformed person. When I lived in Kingston, just to survive, I was drinking 6 cups of coffee a day just to keep me awake, because I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and sometimes I wasn't in my bed until 10 o'clock at night. By the time I got home, I was so stressed out, 2 glasses of wine to calm me down, and a Panadol PM to put me to bed, so that I could have a good night's sleep, because I just wasn't sleeping well. I was getting every single condition, every single sickness that was coming along. I was not healthy. Even though I worked out and I was a yoga teacher and the owner of a gym, inside wasn't healthy, and I knew it. The other thing is I was suffering from extreme bloating and acid pain in my stomach. I couldn't figure it out. After I did that 40-day detox, where I took myself off of what I call now the bad boys: caffeine, sugar, alcohol, dairy, and all acidic producing foods. And I started to get back on my yoga mats. And I started to have a regular schedule of working out, what I call your hour power. And I started to let go of things that weren't serving me, beginning to shed the weight of losing Shakti and embracing being in a new place where I knew nobody or anything. And after that 40 days, I honestly looked at myself in the mirror and I realized that I had found myself again. That not only was I feeling like $1 million, like the energy in my body was beyond what I'd ever felt before in all my years of fitness and health. The clarity in my mind, the focus, the awareness of who I am, what I want to do, what my mission is in life, what I am. I never knew it was that I was going to teach detox programs, but I knew I wanted to inspire people to be more healthy. My stomach condition cleared up completely, and I just felt like me again. And I said to myself, wow, if I feel like this, there must be other people feeling like this, surely, and I put the word out, would anybody like to join me on a 21-day detox? 10 people, random people I never met before, signed up, and that was the first one, and that was 3 years ago. Since then, I've taken over 300 people on detox programs, so with me physically or online. We're trying to develop this as an online product as well. And the testimonials and results for every single person has always been the same. It's not about how they look or the way that they lost, because I really don't market my detox as a weight loss program. But every single person has been able to take what they learn on the detox and incorporate it into their lifestyle. So it's no longer a fad. This is not a diet. This is a way of life. And what I hope after being with me for 7 days or 21 days, if you join the 21-day program, is that you're going to have the tools that you can live this lifestyle every single day, so that you can live on an optimal level of health. Optimal level of health is an amazing thing, but what you also feel when you're clean and clear inside is an optimal level of inner peace and joy. And then a renewed sense of just being in love with yourself again. I know that may sound a little woo-woo, right? But basically that's what we're all looking for, right? Peace, love, and joy. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. Okay. So what I want to talk to you about today, that's why I am here right now, because it became so powerful. There was another detox and another detox, and I'm like, oh my God, to me, my goal in life is to be able to inspire people. My mantra in life is live fit, live life, live love. And for me, this is a way of incorporating everything that I've known in my over 30 years of being in this business, is being able to inspire people to live fit, nutritionally, physically, to live life, to become fearless and open-minded again, and also to be loved, to live love, but starting with loving yourself first. Because what happens over time is we love everybody else, but essentially forget ourselves. So this is what it's all about. And this is why I'm here, and I want to explain to you a bigger picture about why I think it's important for us to detox. Not just as a one-off thing, but that detoxing is going to become a way of life in the future. Paul, tell me if I'm right or wrong. 20 years ago, we wouldn't be sitting on this veranda and talking about detox, right? We talked about where is the next gin and tonic, right? We'd be in a bar, right? My kids are growing up hearing the word detox. They're understanding why we're detoxing from now, because the sad truth is the reason we all need to detox, and I don't care if you are a yogi sitting on top of a mountain, touching thumb and index finger, and eating green juice all day. The sad case is the world is toxic. We are a microism of the world. Because the world is toxic, nobody can argue about that. We are also toxic. So let me start with some of these things. It's like Detox 101, because I know you know this. There's no doubt that food and drinks that we're eating is so far from source, especially if we are accustomed now to fast foods, convenience foods, foods that come either in a box, a bag, not you, Paul, not you, Tina, a box, sorry, I have to be careful. A box, a bag, or a can. On this program, nothing that you eat comes out of a box, a bag, or a can. Nothing. It's fresh food sourcing from the earth. Food that we're eating now is so processed, it's so far from the source. It's full of pesticides, fertilizers, dyes, additives. I don't even need to go on that one. This one is, everybody knows this. Water. I don't care if you're going outside when it rains and opening your mouth. The water, even from the God's sky, is acidic right now. Acid rain, it's acidic. The water in those water bottles that we're drinking is acidic. The water from the pipes are so to run off fertilizers, pesticides, antibiotics coming off the mountains and into our water stream. That even the water that we're drinking is toxic. I want to talk a little bit about the products that we're putting on our bodies, because this is also important. Do you know that the average woman puts 512 chemicals on her body before she walks out of the door in the morning? So from brushing your teeth with toothpaste and full of chemicals. When you brush your teeth, if you look at the back of the toothpaste, it says, do not swallow. Right? This could cause death. Toothpaste, lotion, shampoo, conditioner, nail polish, perfume, makeup, lipstick, 512 chemicals that we're actually putting on the largest organ in our bodies. Everything that you put on your body goes straight into your bloodstream. Do you know that infants up at the university that cannot eat at birth or cannot drink, you know how they feed them? They massage them with coconut oil, and that is absorbed into the skin to give them nutrition. Is that crazy? So everything that we eat, everything that we put in our bodies gets absorbed into our bloodstream. So what we put in our bodies, air pollution. Remember this last meeting, the last time I had this detox meeting was in the evening in Kingston, and we're there, and all of a sudden I smelled this smell, and they were going down the road and fogging from mosquitoes, and all of us were here with our eyes streaming, and I just reached this far, and I'm talking about air pollution, and I mean, my whole sinuses were inflamed for 2 days, but we're breathing this in from the cars, the smoke, pollution, garbage burning, we're breathing that in. So even if you're a yogi sitting on top of the mountain, you're going to be affected. Radiation, this is a big one. These little things that we carry around in our hands are new body parts that we're growing that never leave our sides. This is causing radiation into our bodies. We know this, but it's such a part of our lives that we're not even aware. When we go to sleep at night, we plug the phone in right beside our bed. We're looking at screens all day long. Radiation is one of the newer forms of toxins in our body. And last but not least, stress. Stress. And Paul said, if you live in Jamaica, I don't care who you are, It's as much as an incredible place it is to live, it's also an extremely stressful place. Am I right? Yes? Even Mowgli, believe it or not. It's just a very challenging, dynamic place where you kind of have to be in fight mode all the time. Your fight and flight response is very high. Stress translates as acid and toxin in the body. The toxic work environment, toxic relationships that you're not serving you, that make you stomach cramp when you know you have to interact with the body. These are all causing stress. I'm going to explain to you now in a little while what these toxins are actually doing once they are either absorbed physically or they come in the form of stress or they come in the form of the air that we breathe. But before we do that, I want to talk about the 12 major signs of toxic overload in your body. I just want to name them off, and I want to get a feel and be honest here. And you guys online, be honest, write to me and let me know if you have either one or two or three of some of these symptoms. So some of the symptoms that your body may be in toxic overload are the one that you need to detox: bloating, indigestion, acid reflux, digestive disorders, constipation also, constant diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome. This is a very big one for toxicity in the body. Sinus. I know that's a huge one. I live back to see. I'm very lucky. I think that makes a big difference. When there's so many people here, when my kids were living here, they were constantly sinusitis and allergies. They came here because of an allergy. So, amazing, right? So, allergy is also, you may have had a toxic substance that doesn't serve you, or it can come up because there's a build-up over time of toxins in your body. Headaches, migraines, can't get rid of them, constantly getting worse. Moodiness, irritability, depression, anxiety, abnormal, of course we all have some of this, but abnormal amongst all that. Insomnia, you cannot sleep at night, that is big. Skin conditions, so onset of adult acne, stuff like what the hell, I mean, I'm not a teenager anymore. Eczema, itching, unexplained itching all over your body, rashes, that kind of thing. Unable to fight off illness. Whatever is going around, you're going to get it. You know, so you're in bed sick 3 or 4 days all the time. You know, where everybody else seems to be able to fight off what's going wrong. Chronic fatigue. This is another big one that goes undetected, and I think I definitely had that by the time I left Kingston. No matter if you get to 8 hours of sleep, you're still tired. By 11 o'clock, you're exhausted. You have some lunch, and God help you, and you don't know how you will get through without your afternoon nap, right? You're exhausted. Chronic fatigue, no matter how much sleep you get. Here's another biggie: inflammation and joint pain. This one in my last detox was alarming, actually, how many young people are experiencing joint pain and inflammation at an early age. So I'm talking early onset of arthritis, joint pain, knee pain, ankle pain, hip pain, the whole, you know, head to, top of the head to the toes. Unable to get out of bed in the morning. You feel, it takes you a while, you're creaky and cranky when you get up in the morning. I said about constipation. And then another big, this was a big one too for me, is focus and memory. You can't focus on anything, and God forbid you can't remember. You're mid-sentence and you forget what you're saying, or you find yourself walking into your room like, why am I here again? Why am I here? Or you can't remember where you put something. That was a big one for me. Just complete, like, you know, I blamed it on pregnancy and just having way too many children at the old age. But I figured out after detox, it kind of clears up. You kind of get a little bit more sharp in your head. And then another one is unable to lose weight. You're going to the gym, you're doing what you know to be the right thing, you're dancing, you're exercising, you're eating what you think, but you just can't seem to lose those 90 pounds. That's especially around the middle, and I'm going to explain what that is. It's not necessarily fat, it's inflammation. Anybody in this room or online, you can type in and let me know, have any of these symptoms. 1, don't be shy. 3, all 12, all of the above. Anybody don't have any of this? That's a better question, right? There's nobody in this room that can say, I don't experience anything like this. Okay, thank you for being honest, and I hope you're going to tell me that online as well. Right now, I'm experiencing this. I'm moving my house. Lots of things are up in the air for me for summer, and I'm feeling this where this is my weak spot, is my stomach. For other people, it's their allergies or sinus. For other people, it's the PMS or the insomnia. Another thing I forgot to talk about here too is really exaggerated PMS and menopausal issues. You get that? In the next slide. So this is why we need to periodically detox, because if we don't take care of this now, all this is the body giving a little warning signs. These are just little signs. These are not major things, right? We can live with it. We can pop a pill to go to sleep. We can pop something for acid, right? We can take something for PMS. We can go to the doctor and put some more for eczema. But guess what? It ain't going to go away unless we address the core line issue of what's happening in our bodies. So I hope that I can address that for you now. I just want to make it clear, I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist. But I have experimented and worked with hundreds of people as myself for the last 30 years on what is it? What is the secret? What is the magic formula for optimal health? And I really feel like we have it in this program. And I say that without any shame or any ego. I feel that this program really is it. So what's happening in the body when we're toxic overload? So everybody knows the liver is the main detox system. Everybody says, oh gosh, don't drink too much, your liver does so much. Your liver is like the mastermind of the detox systems in your body. But the liver has 6 helpers. Okay, the liver has the sinuses, the liver has the kidneys, the liver has the colon, the liver has the lymphatic system, the liver has the lungs, and the liver has the skin. 6 other helpers. But when we are in toxic overload, that means there's too much for these liver and these 6 helpers to move the toxins out of your body. You just can't. The body dumps the toxins out into the bloodstream. Toxins in the body, whether they come mentally or physically, ingested or put onto the body, translate inside of you as acid. It's an acidic state of healing. Some of you were able to take your pH test this morning. Before you leave here, I want to make sure everybody takes your pH test so you can see whether you're acidic or alkaline, because it's going to mean a lot to your health. So when the body cannot process it through those major channels, it starts to throw the acid out into the bloodstream. So what does acid do? What does acid do? Burns, kills, corrodes, destroys, right? You want to kill the green in your pool, put some acid on it. You want to, anything that you want to kill, you put acid to destroy things. So here is your beautiful circulatory system with your blood passing through the capillaries and the veins and the heart. And then there's this dumping of acid. So the blood cells do one of 2 things. They either start to form and huddle up together to protect themselves from the acid. So they huddle, right? So their cell walls get kind of weak. And they huddle up together and form a kind of sludge. So instead of your blood freely flowing through your system, it's heavy and sludgy. Sludgy blood means you actually feel sludgy too. Your whole body, your digestive system moves like sludge. Your energy, your circulatory, your hormonal system moves like sludge. That's a heavy, lethargic, chronic fatigue way of feeling that I'm trying to talk about. The other thing that happens to the blood cells, I think, is even more alarming. At least those guys are getting together and protecting themselves. What happens is the blood it forms a barrier around, the blood cells form a barrier around to protect themselves from this acid. A mucus barrier. So what happens when the blood cells form this mucus barrier? It's protecting the acid from going in, right? But it's also blocking all the good stuff from going in. So the phytonutrients, the minerals, the electrolytes, everything that we need for a perfect balance in our bodies is getting thrown off. So when the body, so just imagine that you have all these organs inside your body. Some of our organs are more susceptible to others. Some people have colon issues. It's their colon that gets sluggish. Some people have lung issues, sinus issues, stomach issues. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's body has a weak spot. But just imagine inside. Okay, let me give you a better example. You know if you get a cut right here, right? You get sliced by a knife. What happens? You bleed first. And then what happens? Right away, you see this white pus forming. What is that? It's white blood. It's this mucus, right? That the body is instantly sending to protect itself from outside bacteria coming in, right? So in that white stuff, just imagine that inside your body, inside all your vital organs, you're in an over-acidic state, also has this mucus barrier around it. So starting from the esophagus, going all the way down to the colon, there's this mucus barrier around your organs, protecting the organs from the acid, but also stopping the free flow of what we call yoga prana or life force or energy in your body. I'm not the doctor. I know it has a lot more fancy names than that. But I do know how it feels. If this goes unchecked, if we don't deal with it, what happens is the body starts to pull on your calcium stocks. So calcium negates acid, right? You know this, right? Calcium is neutral, it's alkaline, and it negates acid. So what happens is the body will start to leach out from your calcium stocks. Anybody can guess where your calcium stocks are? In your bones and also in your teeth. Right? So this is why we're seeing so much early onset of osteoporosis. The bones are dry because we're leaching out the calcium to try and tamper down the acid. Does that make sense? As I said, disclaimer here, I'm not a doctor, but I have studied with many doctors, and this is how it all makes sense to me in layman terms. Okay? I'm not giving you the scientific, I'm giving you visual layman terms. When the body starts to get to that state where it's pulling on your calcium stocks, that's when major dis-ease starts. Cancer thrives in an acidic state. Okay? Osteoporosis thrives in an acidic state. Heart disease thrives in an acidic state. So the idea is to check in, learn to listen to your body, learn to watch and feel for the signs that you may be in toxic overload, and then what to do about it. And this is what this program is about. What to do when I'm feeling this way. What to do when I see that my husband, you can look at somebody and tell if they're toxic overload. I don't even need that t-shirt anymore. What to do if my mother is like this or my father. As I mentioned my father, I just want to tell you story. It was very dear to my heart. If anybody knows my dad, getting him to do my detox program was like, I never forced, I never pushed this on anybody. He knows what I do, but he always told me that I was crazy, and you know, every time I sit down to eat, he tries to push a piece of pork or a piece in my face or you know whatever, pig struggles, whatever. And after Christmas, for like 20 years, never changed it. After Christmas, his blood sugar went through. He actually started blood sugar tablets. His cholesterol's out the roof. He had a belly out to here. It was so inflamed and swollen. And he just woke up one day. I'm going to try that damn green juice business that you're doing, that deep. I'm going to try it 7 days. I'm only going to do 7 days. Okay, Dad, really? 7 days. I put him on this thing. But 7 days went into 3 months. Daddy went, first of all, he came off the high blood pressure tablets. He cut his cholesterol tablets in half. He went from not being able to exercise at all. Literally, he would come home and just lie down, look at TV and fall asleep. Zero energy. To exercising 45 minutes a day and feeling like a totally different person. He doesn't have the word to it, he just said, I feel a little more lively. All I can say is, not only does acid produce all these things in the body, but acid also tends to produce acidic emotions. And you will find people that are overly acidic that they also tend to be irritable, angry, anxious as well. The minute you switch into the alkaline state, people start to get a little more chill. So my mother is very happy. And so am I. So that was a little side story. So bottom line is you have to alkalize to energize. Now, some of you took the pH test today, and some of you are extremely acidic, and some of you actually looked alkaline. Ideally, when you're on the detox with me, I send you home with a packet of pH strips that you actually take in first thing in the morning on your first or your second pee in the morning to get a true picture. And then we take it for 3 days in a row. So today was just a trial and error, just to give us a little gauge of where we're at. So, health. I have these symptoms. I know people that have these symptoms. What can I do? So my program that I've developed, I've tried to really tone it down so that it is as effective as possible for 7 days. I always say it takes 7 days to review, but 21 days to a whole review. Ideally, to completely reset your body and also to create new habits that last a lifetime. All the research shows 21 days. That's why 21 days to 40 days. It's a magic number. So in these 7 days, this is what we're going to do. You're going to have a pre-detox phase, which lasts 3 days. You're going to have the actual 7 days of detox. And then the most important phase of this is your pre-detox, post-detox phase. After the detox, where you start to add back some of these bad boys that you eliminated from your diet to see if perhaps there's 1 or 2 things that really you shouldn't be having in your diet. Or at least you should be cutting it back. It's not a daily thing. Now, for me, I was so shocked to find out that it was wheat for me. So, throughout all my madness in those last 3 years at Shakti, I still made my own bread. I thought pasta was the healthiest thing on earth, so I ate a lot of pasta. I ate everybody remember the Shakti bars? They were made with whole wheat flour. I thought I was so healthy because I only ate whole wheat bread and I ate a lot of that kind of stuff. I had no idea or put anything together that was having any effect on my stomach was swelling out like that and feeling too much acid. It turns out the minute I went into my post-detox phase where I added back my wheat, I thought surely it must be the coffee because I love coffee. Coffee is like my vice. It wasn't the coffee. It wasn't the wine. It wasn't the sugar. I'm not a big sugar addict, thank God. I know that's hard. It was the wheat. So now this has inspired me to come up with a ton of wheat-free snacks and things that I cook with because there are a lot of people out there with wheat and gluten issues. So what we're going to do in this diet is the post-detox, you start adding back and you check and see if there are any symptoms that come up. But all that will be explained later on in the class. So, 3 phases to the program and 5 what I call pillars of the program. The pillars of the program is you have to eliminate, you have to incorporate, you have to motivate. No, you have to. Eliminate, incorporate, accelerate, motivate, and reinstate. 5 pillars in my program that make it work. So the first one is eliminate. I'm going to eliminate what I call the bad boys. And I don't know why I didn't call them the bad girls, because sometimes they're a little more girls than boys. But here are the bad boys. Alcohol. And yes, wine is alcohol. Darn, I know. Wheat. Wheat in all its forms. So I'm talking bread, pasta, crackers, gluten. Wheat and gluten kind of go together. Gluten shows up in things that you might not even realize. For example, soy sauce has gluten. The soy sauce is just beside every Jamaican stove, right? Soy sauce, lots of gluten. There are lots of things that we're going to that have gluten that we're going to talk about and make you aware of. Wheat, what did I say? Alcohol, wheat, caffeine. This is the hardest thing for me, with caffeine. I love coffee. Anybody out there with coffee, like, you don't know how you're going to do this detox if you love coffee, right? If I can do it, you can do it, right? What I love about the detox is when I start creeping into the more than 2 cups of coffee a day, it kind of pulls me back. So I think 1 cup, I'm not saying coffee is bad for you, you know. Coffee is not bad for you. But why we're eliminating it on the detox is that we're completely taking away anything that is going to cause the liver, the kidneys, the lymphatic system, any extra work we're giving the body. Green tea, yes. Green tea has a slight amount of caffeine in it, but the benefits of green tea far outweigh the caffeine. So green tea is your go-to tea, and it's such an amazing thing. So alcohol, wheat, caffeine, sugar. Sugar is a big one. Sugar comes in many forms. Honey is sugar. Agave syrup is sugar. You know, yes, molasses is sugar. Fruit is sugar. Yes, thank you. So many people say it is a natural sugar, but we want to cut back, like especially with fruit. A lot of people say to me, oh my gosh, I'm so healthy. I do agree. I juice every single day. I put mango, banana, pawpaw, naseberry, pineapple, and 2 dates, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, you know how much sugar you put. So I'll talk about that in a little while. So sugar, meat, dairy. That's another big one. A lot of us are allergic to dairy. So I'm talking even for this week, cheese, milk, eggs, butter. All of that gets cut out. And then all acidic producing foods. All acidic and overly mucus producing foods. So what are some of acidic producing foods that are actually good for us, but for this week we're going to eliminate tomatoes. You know how hard it is to cook for 20 people without tomatoes? It's really hard. Tomatoes are very acidic. Once you come off of them for a week and add it back, you're going to realize how acidic they are. You know? Yeah, nightshades. So eggplants. Unfortunately, I'm married to a Lebanese person. Like, you're not even eat eggplant for a week. Are you crazy? So eggplants, potatoes. I do incorporate a little bit of sweet potato. Citrus. All citruses except for lemon and lime. Somebody here said, no grapefruit, no oranges, no citrus except lemon and lime. Lemon and lime, don't ask me scientifically why, turn alkaline in your body. And actually, how we start our day on the detox is we drink a glass of lemon water. Strawberries, that's another one. Grapes, that's another one. Corn. Now people ask, why do I have to give up corn? I thought corn was healthy. Corn, apart from soy, is and wheat. Well, actually, it's wheat first, and then corn is the most genetically modified food on earth. Let me tell you a little bit about wheat and why it's causing all these allergies. If you were to take a wheat kernel 50 years ago and compare it to a wheat kernel now, there's actually zero resemblance to what a wheat kernel looks like. So much so, they're calling it in my world Franken wheat. That wheat kernel looks like Frankenstein. And instead of being fibrous and gelatinous and something that's good for your body, it's actually impacting your digestive system and causing a breakdown of the digestive walls. So therefore, our poor little kids, we were raised, you know, I'm not yet 50, but almost, but, you know, we were raised on healthy wheat. But what we're serving to our children now as whole wheat is so far from good, and it is really having a big impact on their digestive system. So we're going to eliminate the bad boys. I know that brings up a lot of fear and anxiety, but we have support and we can do it. Just reduces the choices. Okay? Just reduces the choices. It reduces the choices and actually makes things a little easier. So I'll talk about that too. Okay, but here is the second step of my program, which is to incorporate. Now, if you were to Google the word detox programs, there are thousands of detox programs out there. I'm sure some of you have even done them, like the Master Cleanser for 10 days. You just have outside, you know, the cayenne pepper, maple syrup, you know that one? You know? Or there's the all juice cleanser, you just drink juices for 10 days or whatever. I've done them all in my life. What happens at the end of that is you go back to regular eating. You haven't learned anything new, right? You're going back to regular eating. Basically what you've lost is a lot of water weight and the weight comes back on. You're like, oh my God, I just went through that. And your body's starving. Who wants to starve? I cannot starve. If I don't eat food, I am like a living maniac, right? I am on this earth that helps people to enjoy. I love to feed people. And so we're going to eliminate those bad boys, but we're going to incorporate what I call high vitality food. Food that has energy. You will never hear me counting calories or say, well, I'm only going to eat 1,200 calories a day. First of all, I cannot count. I would never be able to tell you. And I would find that so restrictive. What I count is vitality. And I mean this, if you're going to bring me a piece of cheesecake here and give me a choice of a bowl of broccoli, I promise you I will eat that bowl of broccoli before that cheesecake. Because I know that the vitality, the energy, the life force I'm going to get from that broccoli is going to serve me more than that cheesecake. So there's the gratification thing is what you learn. You learn to look at food, not, oh my God, this has so many calories. No. It's how much vitality, how am I serving my body with this vitality. So incorporate delicious high vitality as organic as possible. All the foods that I cook with and serve, so you can do the meal program with me, are as organic or as close to the source as I can possibly find. So that was the first thing, incorporating high vitality. The second thing, and you're never hungry on my program. You're never hungry. I'm going to tell you how you can eat, you're never hungry. The second thing is we're going to give our digestive system a 12-hour rest. So that means the last meal that you eat in the evening is a liquid meal, and the first meal that you have in the morning is a liquid meal. So that you're giving your digestive system 12 hours to rest and repair. All dis-ease happens here, between here and here, between the dots, right? So you have a liquid meal, soup and a salad for dinner, and you put nothing but water or herbal tea into your system until 12 hours later. So if you have dinner at 7, you have your green shake at 7 a.m. Okay, and you give your digestive system. This is where you're going to start to sleep like a baby. Because half the reason why we're not sleeping is we're eating late, rushing, whatever, and the body's trying to digest when it should be. That should be clear, and it should be shutting down so that you can sleep. The third thing that we're going to do is incorporate self-care. This is a week where you're going to take what I call a staycation. Now, that doesn't mean you have to take a week of work off, even though that would be nice and ideal. And yes, I'll be having a yoga retreat soon where you can come to me for a whole week. But this is real, right? And I love that it's real and that you have to leave here in the morning and go out into your world and deal with things, but you're going to deal with it in a different way this week. What I need you to do, though, is you look at your calendar for this week and do not take this detox on if you have some major social events or some major presentation that's going to stress you out, or some launch of a TV program, like the last one I was launching up online, or big TV program, and like, who chose this week to do a detox? It's a time for you to take care of yourself so that you can go to bed and get 8 hours sleep, so that you can be as stress-free as possible. So you're not going to make, that party for the mother-in-law that you don't get along with, or whatever. Nothing that's going to stress you out that week. You're going to incorporate what I call self-care. So that's eliminating and incorporating. And like I said, I'm going to have to read this. I only have it for 7 days. I'm going to have to accelerate the program so that I can help you to change your pH from acidic to alkaline. We're going to incorporate every day what I call, it's not my saying, it's one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, your hour of power. So if you don't have an hour of power, if you don't have an exercise routine in your life right now, we're going to create one that week. And one that serves you and suits you and challenges you, and also that you're not going to get bored. You're going to be able to incorporate this in your life. We are going to be practicing yoga. Now, some people are concerned about yoga because they've never done yoga before. They don't know. Yoga is my life. Yoga is what I've been teaching and sharing for the last long time. But I've developed a special style of yoga, which is detox. It's called Fit Yoga, and it came to me as a divine download. I don't know how to explain it to you what a divine download is. It's just something that hits you out of nowhere. Yoga helps to accelerate the process, and I was teaching especially from regular vinyasa. And be quiet, that dog a little bit because they all know that. I incorporated regular vinyasa yoga within my detox programs, but I felt like it wasn't accelerating. So this download was, how can I take yoga, this ancient form of exercise and well-being, and incorporate the most up-to-the-minute fitness technology, which is high-intensity interval training. So what I've done is taken ancient yoga breathing techniques and speeding them up for 30 to 60 seconds. Everything that we do in our yoga class helps to move the lungs, the sinuses, the sweat, the toxins out through the skin, the breath, the colon, the liver, everything works in this 1 hour power detox. In order to feel that. I'm going to skip over the supplements for a minute. I also incorporate skin brushing. It's something that you're going to learn and I'm starting to incorporate into your life. They are in the shower in the morning to remove and drain the lymphatic system. Oil pulling. What? Oil pulling is an ancient Ayurvedic technique. You can look it up online, but it's extremely powerful. It's actually using coconut oil, swishing it around in your mouth for about 5 minutes, and it pulls the bacteria out of your lungs and your throat. It's amazing. This I teach you how to do all these things. These things are really Epsom salt baths. I invite you for this week to really go natural. Yes, you can wear deodorant, but to really try not to have a lot of makeup on, not to be doing stuff with your nails and your hair, and just really be okay to just be who you are. So no benefits to anybody. Alright? Now, this is optional. Alright? I encourage people, if you know in your heart that maybe you drink a lot of alcohol and your liver needs a little extra help, I'm going to suggest, no, not looking anywhere, a liver cleanse. Okay, a liver cleanse. These are supplements that have natural herbs and stuff that help to just speed up the process of elimination. So especially if you have high cholesterol too, a liver cleanse is very important. It will just help to speed up the process. If your colon is sluggish, remember you're not having as much fiber because you're eating soup in the evening and a green shake in the morning. You're not having enough fiber and you feel sluggish, then I suggest a colon cleanse. And for everybody though, the one and only supplement I take, no multivitamins, nothing like that, but the one thing that I do take is a probiotic. And a probiotic just helps to keep the good bacteria in your stomach healthy, and so that it can do the job of digestion and elimination, which are the two main, most important functions in your body. The other thing that I suggest, these are all suggestions and not mandatory, is colonics. Has anybody here done a colonic before? You've done a colonic for the first one. So colonic, we just happen to have an amazing place here, Harmony Wellness. I work with them, they give you a great discount. Colonics just help to move any impacted pieces. So we talk about PM, we talk about this in our program a lot. At any given time, we have between 5 and 10 pounds of impacted pieces in our colon, just because of the nature of our colon. It's convoluted, it has corners, you know, it goes up here, it has a big corner here, and then you have to go across, and then it has another corner, you have to come down. And for one reason or another, over time, some of these little convoluted places get locked up with stuff that's not moving out because we're not eating gelatinous foods or foods that are pulling stuff over. So it's a suggestion that you get 1 or 2 colonics through the program. It just helps to speed up the process and you feel very light, very happy, very cool. So this is how we accelerate our power, our yoga, our supplements, colonic, skin brushing, oil pulling, Epsom salt baths, which I would have a big believer in Epsom salt baths that help pull toxins out of your body. And also time in nature, time with yourself. Fourth part of the program is motivate. You can do this detox on your own. You pretty much could go home from now with everything that I just told you that I'm just going to pay for that program and I'm going to do the detox and go for it. But I'm going to tell you that there's nothing like the power of the group. Jeanette can tell you that one of the things, the first thing that we did was we started a WhatsApp group that we become example. And we motivate each other. So WhatsApp's the good stuff. Some people that might drive you crazy. For others, it's accountability. It's motivating each other. It's sharing information very quickly of how you're feeling and, oh my God, are you getting that pre-detox headache? Yes, I am. What are you doing about it? I'm lying in bed. I'm drinking extra coconut water. It's just, there's all this information. We've had our detox tribe thing since pre-Christmas, and people are still, we're still on it, and they're still talking, and WhatsApping pictures of people who are like transformed 6 months later, like you can't even recognize them. So the group support is amazing, but you also get my support. You get an email with loads of information about health and wellness and the most up-to-the-minute information every single day. You get me on the phone. I don't want somebody to say, you shouldn't say 24/7. Okay, you get me on regular work now. And it's just a great way to support each other. You're going to have a lot more success doing it with a group than not. And then last but not reinstate. Hopefully, after your 3 days of post-detox, you're going to find out what your toxic triggers are, what you may want to start avoiding. But you're going to feel, I can guarantee you, if you trust in the process, you're going to feel lighter, leaner, stronger, fitter, more lung capacity. You're going to glow from the inside out. Your digestive system is going to feel better. You're going to be sleeping better. I can guarantee that 100% on a money-back guarantee that you don't feel that way after 1 week of really sticking the process of the program, that you will be a different person. And perhaps, as a bonus, you may have lost a few gratitude pounds, and that's just a bonus. That always feels good. I feel like I've talked a lot. I want to open up the floor right now for questions. And then I want to just tell you 2 more things, which what a day in the life of your detox will look like, so you see if you will be able to incorporate this into your life. And also what the next steps will be. So, any questions? If you are online and joining us, you can actually type the questions in, and Monique will try to answer them. And if she can't, I will answer them later for you. Prescription medication, very good for old people. Well, first of all, you're not old. Second of all, we're not. That's another thing, another benefit when we reinstate you. You actually look younger. Not just you feel younger. People are going to ask you, what have you been doing just after 7 days? It is amazing. Prescription medication, of course, if you're doing on prescription medication, you need to continue with that. I just want you to know that sometimes prescription medication can have an effect on the pH strip. It can make it more acidic. So you might not be able to see results in that way from medication. That's a good question. Stay on your meds. After the detox, you might want to, What I would suggest, if you really are suffering with health issues, go get a blood test before the detox, and then take a blood test after the detox and see the difference. It is unbelievable. If you read my testimonials, you'll see actual figures from people who have done that. Anybody else? Don't be shy. Good question, because sometimes you can't find limes or lemons like the last. I know they're like rock hard. The short answer is I don't really know the answer to that. I would energetically feel that they're going to be the same. It's kind of like a cross between a lemon and a lime, and I've had to get sour oranges recently. But the good news is limes are back. We went through like a month, but there are no limes. But you can do. Now let me give you my little lime and lemon trick, especially when you see lemons. Lemons are so precious and rare. You get them, you juice them, you put them in ice trays, you freeze them. So if you look in my freezer, there's no pork and meat. There's lemon, rolls of lemon juice, right? So yes, you want to get lemons or limes. Lemons just give you more vitamin C, and they're just a little bit more alkaline, but limes don't just as well. I use for when one of the things that tends to detox is you drink a glass of lemon water every day. It's usually like an ice cube size. So whatever that is.
Everything you've shared with us this morning you get in some kind of package or
right. Oh yeah, so what you're going to be getting. So once you register, I just want to say, like, it's a very fine line talking about being pushy. But I'm not being pushy here, but I'm going to say I have 14 spaces here because this is where this transforms into our detox center right here. So I only have 14 spaces. So once you sign up and commit, then you get this, which is your detox manual, which has every single thing that you want to. Everything that I just explained. It also has your shopping list. It also has your day in your life of your detox, what that looks like. It also has a date and time that you can commit to. So let me go straight through. Yeah, so we start on Sunday the 8th of June, which means our pre-detox starts Saturday, Friday, Thursday. So pre-detox program means you go on what I call the elimination part of the process. We eliminate the sugar, the alcohol, the wheat, the dairy. That doesn't mean you have to have a green drink in the morning and a soup and salad for dinner yet. You can go and have your regular breakfast, your one green banana. You can still have a hard-boiled egg or egg in the morning, but we start the elimination process. For Thursday, that would be Thursday. What's the fitness? It's all here. That would be from Thursday the 5th, right? On Sunday the 7th, we meet here at 10 a.m. And we have Sunday the 8th, thank you. Sunday the 8th, we meet here at 10 a.m. And we have our introduction to the Fit Detox. This is where I also teach you to do the oil pulling, the skin brushing, Epsom salt baths. And I teach you how to make your green shakes. I give you ideas of how to make delicious. And believe me, my father can start to like and look forward to a green shake in the morning. You can too. So what does a green shake mean? A green shake is just a very efficient way to get as many alkaline foods into your body as quickest way. So we do superfood. So basis of most of my green shakes are coconut water. You don't want to stop them on a lot of coconut, fresh coconut water. You were going to use one fruit in our shake, so not like 5 fruits and 1 stick of lettuce. We're going to use one fruit and a lot of green stuff. So I have thousands of recipes on my website. They're not in the cookbook, but they will be on the e-cookbook that I'm going to have applied that detox, right, Renee? And so I teach you on Sunday how to make your green shake. So Sunday is, and then we form what I call a sacred circle. Sunday 10 to 12. 10 to 12. Then we meet Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:45 a.m. until I'd say anywhere between 10 and 11. I would give yourself until 11. Depends on what we do. Part of the detox too is you get the detox journal. So a lot of when we're detoxing, it's not just really about food. It's lifestyle. It's things that have crept into our lives that we want to let go of. So we have a detox journal. I have a whole series of things that I weave into the program, and I do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday after yoga. We meet Tuesday, Thursday evenings at 5:45 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that is a restorative, gentle yoga class. Sometimes I incorporate yoga nidra, which means deep yogic sleep. We like that one called. It's a relaxation technique that you can use to help you to fall asleep at night. Yin yoga, I do a bunch of different things. That's Tuesday, Thursday evening. Honey, your battery is running out on the phone, on the computer. The other thing that happens on Thursday, I don't know if you guys are aware, I also teach one-day high vitality cooking workshops. So starting from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, I do a cooking workshop. So if you feel inspired You're buying the meals and you feel inspired, like, I really want to learn how to continue to cook this food itself. One day workshop, everything else in my cookbook you learn how to make and more. And if you are not the person that cooks and you are honest about that, yeah, I'm never going to cook, send the person that cooks for you. It is the most inspirational day. So that will be on Thursday. Friday we meet, as I said, 8:45, and then we end the program on Saturday morning. No time, that's going to be up to the group what suits people on Saturday, probably around 8:30 or 9:30 on Saturday morning. Then your post-detox work starts after that. So if you're buying the meal program, first meal that you're going to pick up, the first thing you get your little bag, and your bag has your lunch and your dinner. You can make your food shake on your own, and I also make snacks. So I'm going to talk about the snacks and stuff that you might want to purchase snacks. But your first meal, if you're buying the program, is Sunday, and the last one will be Saturday. So that's the program. So how does it work? What does a day in your life with detox look like? So upon rising, you're going to reach for your lemon and lime water. What I normally do to make it easy, and I remember, is before I go to bed at night, I set a jug, put the lime water, the lime cube or lemon cube in it, shake it in the morning, and I'll just drink that as I wake up. Depending if you are an early riser, you go straight to exercise, which is normally what I do. I wake up and I go straight to exercise. I can't stomach my green shake just then. I'll have a cup of herbal tea, and then I'll go to my exercise program, come back, and then I'll make my green juice. At about 10 or 11 o'clock, when you start to get the hungers and the hunger pans, you're going to have a high vitality snack. So there are many recipes in my book of things that are gluten-free, sugar-free, wheat-free, dairy-free that you can have, or you can buy them from me, keep them at home in your freezer. And then lunch is your biggest meal of the day. In Ayurvedic medicine, that's when your digestive files are burning the most, and lunch is when you get a really amazing lunch, or you make your own lunch. It has protein, a carbohydrate, and lots of greens. So I incorporate the 80-20 rule in my diet, or how I serve my food, where 80% of your food is greens or fresh vegetables, and not necessarily raw. 10% is protein and 10% is carbohydrate. Then if you get, like me, you have to have an afternoon snack as well. Then you have an afternoon snack with a cup of herbal tea. And then your evening is a detox soup and salad, which means it's not red pea soup with pig's tail and dumpling and those kind of things. Lots of recipes in my book, or you take home from me on the meal program for detox soup and salad. So for those of you joining us online, I know this is a hard part. You have to prepare the meals yourself, or find a restaurant or a health food store, something close to you that offers meals like this, and we will talk to you differently about that. So nothing goes in your mouth after that last meal and the first meal of the day. So 3 meals, 2 snacks, lots and lots of water, but coconut water. So when I say coconut water, I prefer you to get what I call young jellies, so not the older, sweeter jellies that have a lot of sugar, but the young jellies that are not as sugary. I love coconut water. It's just one of the ways that you can really flush your body, especially the first 3 days. Those 3 detox days, the first 3 days, that's why I try to give this to you to get it out of your system before you go in. So it can be hell. It can be hell. You can feel like you're dying, especially if you're a coffee addict or no rum. I mean, you start getting the shakes at about 6 o'clock. I'm gonna have one standing by. 2. You get, no rum, no, all these habits that we have in our lives. It's like, what do you fill yourself with, So the first 3 days, let me tell you, some of those detox symptoms, you can feel like you're dying. Literally, the first time I did a detox, I thought I had dengue fever. I thought I was dying. I mean, I had pains in every joint of my body. I went to a spinning class, and so I was up to 6 cups of coffee a day. When I came back from the class, thank God my mother was there. I came back and I stood up and I completely went black and passed out. Cold. start to shake and convulse like this. And of course she's going, you have to eat something. You know, everybody's going to tell you that you need to come out and detox. And then I started to sweat profusely, fell asleep, and I woke up 3 hours later, and it was like, whatever that toxin was had moved through my body. So that was pretty extreme. But you can get weird things like pains between your legs. But if you're, especially if it's coffee, like the inner thigh meridian or energy lines to your inner thighs are related to your kidneys. So anything that's going to cleanse your kidneys, you can find your sinus draining. People like, oh my God, I want to detox, but I'm getting sick. Your sinus is draining, the back of your throat is sore. Headaches, fog, like you don't even know where am I, who am I, you're exhausted. So those first 3 days, you stay very quiet, you stock up with your water, your coconut water, and you really, you know, schedule a massage or go to the beach or go to the mountain or something that you can really take care of yourself. No, well, so, no, what I would do is start cutting, like for me, right, the coffee. So, yeah, so 3 days, yeah, 7? Okay, so you're going to start from now, cutting back to 6, 5 days, 5, 4, so by the time you reach 3 pre-detox, you're down to like 2 cups and then 1, okay? You gotta wean yourself. That coffee thing can kill you. Yeah, you have to wean yourself. So green tea is a fantastic substitute. So it's matcha tea. That's why I go to matcha tea and matcha powder. Matcha tea is a green tea. I don't even know if you can get it here. I bring it in like a loaves because it really, it's the first cut of the tea leaf. So it has the most chlorophyll and the most antioxidants, and that's what they say the Buddhist monks drink matcha tea to keep their mind alert during meditation. M-A-T-C-H-A. The other thing that I'm a huge fan of is moringa powder. Moringa. Well, you can get the teas. This to me, if we did nothing in Jamaica, but started growing moringa trees, and this is the next greatest superfood. Do you know that Whole Foods has just started carrying moringa, right? Because it was blocked by the, because they're so afraid of the power of this thing. And you know it's growing all over Jamaica. And I've been researching this thing from I had starfish oils. I've been researching moringa oil. So much so that I have made a face cream out of moringa oil. This is the most unbelievable cream. I just put it out in the morning. I'm using moringa oil with all natural products for the face. So, moringa, I put a teaspoon of moringa powder in my shake every day. Now that really helps with the caffeine. It gives you this like incredible burst. People always ask me, what's your secret? That's a lot of things. But I think the moringa, not only that, it really helps with my hair, my skin, and my nails. You can do the seed. The powder, I put it in my shake or I make a tea from it. It has an acquired taste. It's an acquired, it's not something you're going to fall in love with right away. It's a bit bitter. So then if you just put a teaspoon, you can mask it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The seeds are great too. The seeds are super powerful. I don't like to tell, I'm not going to say go out and take seeds at your own risk, because sometimes it can be almost too powerful. Like, so I have, if you look in my cart any one time, I have a bag of seeds. You know why? You know why? You know what I use them for? Whenever I drive between Kingston and Mobile, I always get stopped by the police. Before we used to give the police a little rubber, those days are over, right? So I just take out the moringa off the stuff. Boy, I never had a speeding ticket in my life before, but can I offer this to you? And let me tell you something, like gold, right? It's like gold. And then you don't want to write. Don't you ever take that off the video, please. All right, so moringa is the new superfood. food. I'm a huge believer in it, and I sell it every month. Aloe is amazing. So if you have any kind of digestive, I do an aloe, what I call aloe flush every Sunday. So I take 2 stalks of the aloe, take out the gelatinous part, and blend it with a piece of fruit, a piece of papaya, just to get the taste out. It's alkalining, it's great for digestive disorders. It's soothing for your stomach, it's fabulous. It's icing on my skin. That's okay. I think put it in a green juice, absolutely. Yeah, the skin has a problem with that. I don't use the skin. I did want, everybody will tell you something because somebody told me once that the skin is the most important part. So I said, all right, I will try anything once. I have the skin. No, don't have the aloe skin. But the aloe vera is another super food. The first thing you need to do when you cut it is this yellowy stuff. You have to let that come out. That's very toxic. I would just imagine it's toxic. But the gelatinous stuff is incredible. Another thing in my shopping is that you probably don't want to pick up flax seeds and chia seeds. These are very high in omega-3 acids, we're not. Especially if I'm cooking for you, that week we only have 2 days during the week where we actually have 3. Everything is vegetarian except 3 meals. 2 are fish and 1 is just a little bit of chicken. Because chicken and meat have a lot of acid in them. So it's all mostly vegetarian. And I'm not a vegetarian. Assume that I'm vegetarian. I'm not vegetarian. I love my chicken every now and then, and I love fish. But I only chicken. My body will tell me when I need some animal protein. No red meat. No red meat. No pork. No red meat. No steak. Not just for a week. No steak for just a week. No, just for a week. Just for the week of the detox. Because we're trying to cut the acid level.
Yeah, you said 21 days, and I was saying just 1 week.
This is 1 week. What happens in this program, most people want to continue on. Once you finish with me with the week, you're going to know what to do for the rest. Most people just feel motivated. They go, what you say, so yeah. That is random the first month. Eat everything. I try so much that everything in my cooking is sourced locally. I really do not believe in buying imported fruits and vegetables. So mostly everything is sourced locally. I don't know. I don't. When I taste it, there's so much in abundance of coconut. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. You have to go get the coconut vitamin carton. That is why everybody in the world needs to have one of these. I would not be drinking so much coconut water if it wasn't for one. This is called a coconut opener. I brought them into Jamaica. A friend introduced this to me, and this takes the manufacture out of the coconut. The reason we don't drink a lot of coconut water, we need a machete to chop it, right? Unless somebody's standing by with a machete. This is unbelievable. You stick it underneath the little flower part at the top, and then you just push this down. It's like opening a bottle of wine, but easier. Just turn it around, out it pops. They have the coconut. So in the morning when I'm making my shake, I get my coconut, just put that in the blender, and then put everything else in. So coconut water is always a good shake.
So how long is that coconut, the fresh coconut last? If you buy 3 and put them in, and these ones.
Yeah, man. Oh, you don't. Wow. You know what's a great thing to do? Go to the coconut industrial board. They cut them right there and fill up the jug, and you can take that home. And it lasts what, like 4 days, a week? I would say get a smaller amount and do it more often, because what I really want you to do over the course of the week, everything is as fresh as possible. So, for instance, one thing, if you're going to the supermarket and buying like fruits, please do not buy fruits and vegetables that are pre-cut in the supermarket and then wrap them in plastic. You want to buy smaller amounts that you're going to use up right away. No leftovers. It's fresh, high value. Yeah. 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 I'm not 100% sure. We should research it. Yeah, you can kind of taste it over the rest. I would think 3 to 4 days, and that's why when you ask about the bottled coconut water, I'm pretty 100% sure they're preservatives in there. So they will just stay. Yeah.
And what happens if you're diabetic?
Continue on your medication. Absolutely.
You think you're going to get like sugar?
I don't think so at all. And if you are getting a sugar low, the go-to thing that we do is zinc. So on my program, if there's something that requires honey or sweetener, we sweeten it with zinc. Like if you feel like your shake is just not sweet enough, you put a date in. Some of our salad dressings in my book that I normally use honey for, you substitute for dates. And that's natural sugar, which is great. Yeah. Oh yes, fruit, absolutely. Fruit, one fruit in your shake, and then you can have like another fruit. Yeah, one huge. Yeah, just a lot of fruit. Yeah, I'm not saying that anything is wrong with having a whole bunch of fruits, right? But just for this week, what we're doing is not having any spikes in your insulin. You know, we're just taking out anything that's going to stress the body. High glycemic. Well, because it's a one fruit, everything is fine except for your citrus. So if you want to do a mango in there, I used to not allow. Well, Dr. Junger never allowed bananas on his program, and I didn't either. But bananas are like, they make every shake taste really good. And then the other day he was on Dr. Oz, and he said, you know, I incorporated bananas back into my program because just like green tea has some caffeine, but it's still, the benefits of a banana are so good for you versus a little bit of a high sugar that it has. So banana, mango, pawpaw. My favorite green juice, my go-to green juice, is just the one that I just love, is coconut water, pineapple, ginger, and then I add my moringa, and then whatever greens I have. So celery. I don't use protein powder. I think I get enough protein from the nuts and the seeds. Anybody have a nut allergy? What? Yeah, peanuts. Yeah, peanuts are not allowed on the detox diet. Peanuts are, many people are allergic to peanuts. There's like a lowest form on the nut scale, the peanuts are down there, right? And the reason is they carry a lot of fungus, and a lot of people are allergic to nuts. That's why most foods today, you can't even bring anything with peanut butter every day. And also, they fertilize them a lot. Now, I love a peanut man. That never used to pass me, a peanut man with the hot peanuts and everything. Now that I'm so much peanut, I can even, if I dive into a peanut shell, I can feel the chemicals on my mouth from fertilizing. So, you have on every evening. That's going to be hard. You don't have, I don't. You're not going to have to put your finger on. Because of but that week we're eliminating because we want to know if, first of all, we carry a lot of fungus and a lot of people are allergic to that. I don't, not for the detox. We eliminate them. Just for one week. You can have almonds. They're not nuts. What are they? That's right. So there's something about them. Of course. It's just a crazy thing with life. You know, people that are bad for you. Like bad boyfriends. Crazy, right? Bad food, yeah. I don't know what that is, but yeah, you tend to go towards them. I don't know psychological or physiologically what that is. My brother-in-law is William, who's doing the Nature Valley bars, and I love them, but they are full of sugar. and pull up. You don't want to stay away from them. That's all. So if you're traveling, there are lots of recipes in my book for high vitality bars and snacks, or you buy them directly from me. I also, even from Mobe, if you don't want to do this detox on Mobe, you want to incorporate new ways of snacks instead of peanuts and instead of nature bars, I set them by meal pack right here.
I'm sorry, but I think we covered it already. Meals.
So meals are ready every day at 11:30 for pickup, and you just come here. If you are rushed, this house is like a sanctuary for the week. It used to belong to my beloved grandmother. She passed away. Now my aunt is here, but when I'm here, it's fully. If you're in a rush and you can't get, back to the office to eat, you come and sit down and eat here, or you take a little lunch home and have your lunch and with it. So, a green shake and a green juice, which you make at home, and I would like you to have a snack. So some of the snacks that I sell are like my raw cocoa energy bombs. They're made from pure Jamaican chocolate mixed with nuts and coconut. I mean, if you are like chocolate on a detox, chocolate is actually really good for you in its purest form. And it also has such a good flavor factor. So, or I do make a seed bread, which is a little bread made just from nuts and seeds, and it's delicious, savory, and sweet. I do almond power balls. There's flaxseed crackers like you have today over there. These are samples of the stuff that I sell. And what I suggest you do is you get some and keep them in your freezer, so that you always, when you're going on the road, you're not stopping to pick up a Nature Valley bar because you have something that's healthy for you. Are those delicious? That's pure flaxseed chia seed, nutritional yeast, sea salt. Yeah. I don't really know how to answer that question. I would research that for you. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Right. Yes. Right. Right, so maybe your thing is actually the wheat, and it's not the gluten, but it's the kind of wheat that I talked about. It's not necessarily gluten, and then there are some people that are allergic to gluten, but not to wheat. But usually where you find wheat, it's gluten as well. They usually tie them together in the two, Yeah. So you get all that information at night. So for instance, you come off the detox, right? And Monday morning, you're not going to have for breakfast a cup of coffee with condensed milk, an omelet with cheese and tomatoes, with some bread and butter, and you're going to wash it down with orange juice. Please don't do that. Or a mimosa, okay? You're not going to do that. You're going to add one thing at a time, and then you're going to give yourself 12 to 24 hours to watch the other reaction. So, for instance, some people will add back a piece of cheese, and they'll notice 12 hours later they're draining like crazy, or their throat is stopped because, or they add back a glass of wine. That was another thing with me. White wine now. I can't really drink white wine anymore. It gives me an instant headache. I love wine, right? So that's one of the things. But you made a very good point. And this is one of the blessings and the curses of a detox, is that you become really ultra sensitive to those foods that are not good for you. So you had a much exaggerated reaction to the meat that day after you'd eliminated it from your. I tried to be, of course, I will cheat, but I pay the price. So I'll go out, like if you go to a Lebanese restaurant and you want to have some pita bread with some hummus, yes, I'll do it, but then I will know that the next day. So I just, I make, what's been great for me is this discovering this whole new world of cooking and creating cooking to make, to work around those allergies. Word of caution, I just want to say, like everything else, people jump on these waves. Like right now, it's a gluten-free wave, right? So everybody's selling a gluten-free product. Be careful of marketing because, they say gluten-free or they'll say organic just to get you to buy it. But they're full of sugar. They're full of all kind of other stuff. My thing is, if it comes in a bag, a box, or a can, it's probably been processed more than you want it to be. So you really want to eliminate all these packaged, goodie bars and these bars, kind bars, and millions of power bars out there, full of sugar. They're full of gluten, full of fat. You really just want to get to the point where you're just eating from a source. Sure.
Yeah, I think this one because of our traveling expenses. Yeah. It's just on reservations.
Yeah.
First we doing the other one of us.
Yeah.
When is your next one?
My next one will be till September. Yeah. I'm taking the summer off. Hold it off. What I want to say about, sometimes we are going through a lot of things, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes it's the one thing, this is my favorite quote right here, by the way. I want to read this. It says, the irony of commitment is that it's deeply liberating in work, in play, in love. The act frees you from the internal critic, from the fear that likes to dress itself up as and parade around as rational hesitation. To commit is to move ahead as a barrier to your life. So sometimes when you have these you know what you can't do, and you're in a very busy time, it actually makes your life a little more simplified. Does that make sense? I've had people that have come on this detox and second day into it, their husband wakes up and just says, I'm out of this marriage, bye, keep the 2 kids, literally. And she said in her testimonial, the best thing ever happened was that she had that framework. Because what would you normally do? Drink 10 bottles of wine and stuff your face down with candy or something, you know what I mean? We all have our resources. She was able to stay as level-headed and as clear as possible during the crisis. I've had many, many crises happen while people are on the detox for just before one, but they say just being on that gave them such a level playing field. It will also ensure that you're going to have the best summer ever. You're just going to feel so good about yourself and have so much energy. What this detox really does is, my belief in life is stay out ahead of your game in whatever profession you are, or even if you're a mommy, looking after your kids to the best of your ability. The only edge, there's so much competition, there's so much happening, the only edge we really have is our energy, right? The more energy we have, the more that we're able to do. And what this program gives you is that edge, because you're going to get unbelievable energy that is real, that is really comes from within, and it's sustained, and it's balanced. And it's a lifetime thing. I'm not saying you don't have your red wine and chocolate cake and having coffee. As soon as the detox is done, right? Bring me that cupcake, of course, some Kentucky chicken. But it is a way to bring yourself back in your check and stay balanced. Salt is, you have to be careful because the body needs a certain amount of sodium. I cook with sea salt mostly, and I get my iodine from sea vegetables, so like salmon and things like that. But yeah, I believe in salt, but just not at the amount of salt that we normally use. So here are what, anybody has any other questions? I'm going to give you a handout of the dates, important dates to remember to commit to. The next steps would be is I would love, because I already have 6 people committed on the program, so that means I only have space for another days. If you are doing the program, to email us in the next couple of days and to confirm the payment. Once I know it's payment, you're confirmed and I'm able to send you your detox plan, your shopping list, all the things that you need to do. The next job is yours, which is to look at that week that you have and schedule as much downtime as you can for yourself and time to commit to as many of those classes as you can. Now, you may not make every class for the whole 7 days, but at least try to make as many classes.
And there should be interest in these classes. Active yoga.
Activewear, yoga, workout.
In the morning and evening both sessions.
Yeah.
And evening you said Saturday class morning.
Right, what is that?
And it's usually outside of
Of course, if everything is fine. And also, you might want to schedule self-care. Shoes. Some days I may bring you out on the tennis court, and more days, but most times it's just yeah. I have all the yoga mats. You don't need a yoga mat. I provide those. You don't need to bring a thing. Just yourself and your attitude, your great attitude.
Do you have detailed discussions with people on the main program, or do you just send a video and that's what you talk about? Or do you don't need to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean like if you need to customize? So if you are, it's a February for the week, but obviously if you have any allergies or specific sensitivity or something, or let's say like I have a lot of people who don't, they're vegetarian, they don't want the days that we have to do a pure vegetarian for them. Or if I'm making it too spicy and you don't like spicy, because we add a lot of spices, you know, when you're eliminating salt and sugar, you add spice to it, right? Does not taste good? Oh yeah. Just pick it up every day. Usually, hopefully, like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after you finish yoga, it's right. Right. They don't have to come back. Yeah. Right. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, you come back. Yeah. Yeah. Any of my recipes. I would send you so many recipes you won't even know where to. Oh, another thing, guys, what you should look at, if you know what Pinterest is, you know Pinterest? Go on my Pinterest site. I have a page that says Hi Vitality Foods that I love. And it has thousands of fruit juice recipes that I approve of. And so you can go in there and get ideas. Yeah, you kind of need a blender. So if you don't have a Vitamix, I'm going to suggest like a NutriBullet, an ATL Delta NutriBullet. They're about $16,000, and they're the best investment. Yeah, and it's great because then you don't take it away. It's a perfect type of shape. Yeah, I have this is about the size of actually that's about the size of my shake. That's about the size of the shake. And I love these because they have this, it's called blender bottles. So normally when you make a shake, it kind of comes down to that. That's about how big my shake is. You can get all these things on Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday when you're in here. Payments here on Sunday, or you can, all of your payment can be done 3 ways. You can pay by cash, obviously, or you can pay direct deposit into my U.S. Scotiabank account, or you can pay by PayPal. Any Jamaican credit card, it's super easy. You just go on my website, it's all there. You click the button and you pay by PayPal, and Jamaican dollars on your credit card, and it gets goes to the PayPal. That's really the easiest way. If you go to the bank and make a direct deposit, they don't tell me who's deposited. They'll just take a picture of the deposit and WhatsApp it with it. Yeah. In 7 days, thank you for asking. It's $275 for the 7 days for the detox, and it's $300 for the meals. So if you're doing meals and detox, it would be $575. If you're also going to do the cooking workshop, there's a special price if you're doing the meals, the detox, or the cooking workshop. And I don't know what that is.
Snacks aren't included in the
They buy snacks when they come on like the morning Wednesday. Just don't have any.
She just spoke about the box.
Not
If
included.
you're right for the, if you're going to do the cooking workshop, they, yeah, but you might want to send. If you're going to do the detox and the one-day cooking workshop. Yeah. So moringa powder on Sunday I'll have a sale. You can do that. The dry brush massage, the dry brush, I'll have the blender bottle, coconut openers, moringa powder. I also, if you're cooking your own meals, there's an ingredient that I use a lot for nutritional yeast. It's very hard to find. If you're coming out there, it just makes all your food taste cheesy and creamy. So that's what's in the plastic cover that honestly that comes and cheese. And I do sell it for that. That's hard to find. Yeah, so coconut oil, when I'm cooking, I use the Simply Natural one in the supermarket, which is what I like because it's cold pressed and not coconut. But when I use this is what I use on my skin and my oil pulling, Goshen's and Fontana Pharmacy. I love this one. But it's the St. Mary. It's cold pressed, extra virgin, and I love the guy that does this. It's so authentic. And I use this. This is my everything. It's either my essential oil moisturizer or coconut oil, hair conditioner, everything. Makeup remover. I use this Simply Natural to cook with. So you can cook this too. Not as strong as some of them from the market that is just unpalatable to make your food taste bad. No, this one is really good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, man, he's halfway there. Halfway there. So, water. On our detox, we try to drink half of our body weight in ounces of water every day. Half of our body weight in ounces of water every day, or coconut water. So, if you weigh 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water. That's your weight? Our weight. So 50 pounds, 50 ounces of water. And for every hour that you exercise, you add another 8 ounces. Yeah. Yeah, too much. If you drink too much water, yes, it can. It's been dilute all of the but I do. Breathe it out. Half your body weight in ounces. So the next thing is figure that one of those liter bottles that's 30 ounces. So you don't drink like 2 of those, and at least, yeah. Yeah, depends. Like we have to flush it out.
So the next step would be to
confirm and pay. Then you're going to hear more about the pre-detox. You're going to get that manual online, which gives you all the information. It will tell you about the pre-detox program, so you know what that means, what you can eat, what you can't eat. It will give you a shopping list. It will give you a supplement list. All of that is in there. You can pay on the computer or whatever. Yeah. I like that cash money.